Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful, sunny day to dive deep into the heart of Port Charles. We have so much incredible drama to unpack from Friday's episode, and I am absolutely buzzing with excitement to share my thoughts with you all. Let's get right into the magic that our favorite show is delivering right now. I have to start with the moment that literally made me gasp out loud in my living room during Friday's episode. When the camera slowly panned across Drew Kane's paralyzed, locked-in face in that dimly lit bedroom, and Willow leaned in to whisper, "I'm working on something that will hopefully free us both." I felt a genuine chill run down my spine. I genuinely think we are witnessing the absolute pinnacle of daytime psychological thriller writing right now. The sheer audacity of Willow's character in this moment is staggering, and I am entirely here for it. I feel so incredibly thrilled by this scene because to me, it finally proves that the writers are fully committing to Willow's descent into darkness without looking back. I know a lot of people in the fandom are complaining that this storyline is ruining Willow, saying that the sweet moral compass school teacher we once knew has been destroyed. But I actually think this evolution is exactly what the character needed, because I feel like it makes her infinitely more complex and fascinating to watch. When she taunted Drew with the knowledge that she not only shot him, but has been continuously drugging him to simulate a stroke. It was horrifying, but it was also brilliant television. The way I interpret it, Willow isn't just a mustache-twirling villain. She is a woman who has backed herself into a terrifying corner and is now desperately trying to justify her own monstrous actions. When she says she wants to free us both, I believe she actually means it in her own twisted, fractured mind. She views herself as a victim of circumstance just as much as Drew is, which is a masterclass in delusional character psychology. I think the director's choice to focus on Drew's eyes during that monologue was a stroke of absolute genius. We can see every ounce of skepticism, rage, and helplessness radiating from him without him having to utter a single word. I feel like this is the best they've ever utilized Drew's character because it strips away all of his usual action hero bravado and forces him to rely entirely on micro-expressions. You can practically hear his internal monologue screaming at her hypocrisy. I believe that Willow's subsequent horror and panic when she realizes the gravity of what she's doing is the perfect counterbalance to her cruelty. This brings me to her confrontation with Jen Sidwell, which I think is one of the most compelling dynamics on the show right now. When Willow frantically tells him, "We have to quit dosing Drew," I felt this immense wave of satisfaction. I think she is finally cracking under the immense pressure of her own guilt. And watching her try to wrestle control back from a monster like Sidwell is incredibly gripping. I love the way the lighting seemed to shift, casting dark shadows across Sidwell's face, emphasizing the danger he poses. And the fact that this conversation seems to be happening in the Quartermain breakfast room, I think the set designer's choice to place this dark, sinister conspiracy in the bright, sunny, family-oriented space of the Q Mansion was brilliant because it made me feel the stark contrast between the wholesome facade of Port Charles and the rotting secrets underneath. Speaking of Sidwell in the Quartermain Mansion, I am completely obsessed with the tension of his phone call. When he barks into his phone, "You will find her and bring her back. Now." I felt my heart drop into my stomach. The way the actor delivered that line, livid, barely contained rage. His voice, a low, threatening growl, was spectacular. I believe he is talking about Britt Westbourne, and the implication that he has either Pascal or Cassius Faison hunting her down is terrifying. The way I see it, integrating Britt and Rocco's desperate run from Port Charles into Sidwell's web of control elevates the stakes for everyone involved. Britt taking Rocco at his own request to protect him from the fallout of shooting Ross Cullum is such a tragic, beautiful storyline. And having Sidwell's lethal reach extending toward them makes me genuinely fear for their safety. I think the writers are doing a phenomenal job of weaving these isolated storylines into one massive, cohesive narrative web. Transitioning over to the Aurora Media offices, I want to talk about Curtis Ashford and Michael Corinthos, because I feel like this dynamic is quietly becoming one of the strongest partnerships on the show. When Curtis finally opened up to Michael and admitted, "If this ends up going sideways, I could end up in some serious legal trouble," I felt a profound sense of relief. I genuinely think we're missing the point if we just view this as a business meeting. To me, this scene was a beautiful display of male vulnerability and trust. Curtis is a proud, stubborn man who rarely asks for help. So, for him to lay his cards on the table and admit that ADA Justine Turner is breathing down his neck with felony assault and battery charges is a huge character milestone. I know a lot of fans are frustrated with Curtis right now for how he handled the situation with Isaiah Gannon, People are saying he was completely out of line to attack a surgeon and potentially ruin the man's career. But I actually think this storyline is fantastic because I feel like it highlights Curtis's fatal flaw, his fiercely protective, often blinding rage when he feels his family is threatened. I think Curtis is absolutely right to be terrified of the legal repercussions, but I also love that he remains stubbornly unapologetic about the fight itself. When he tells Michael and previously told Trina that Isaiah wanted to fight and he simply gave him one, I believe we are seeing the raw, unfiltered Curtis. He isn't a perfect hero. He is a deeply flawed man who reacts with his fists when his back is against the wall. The way I interpret his dialogue on Friday's episode, Curtis is trying to compartmentalize his personal guilt by focusing hyper-rationally on the business implications for Aurora. I feel like Michael's reaction to Curtis's confession was equally fascinating. Michael is currently playing his own dark games by setting up a cheating trap for Willow and Harrison Chase. So seeing him have to pivot and play the responsible corporate partner for Curtis adds such a great layer to his current arc. I believe Michael realizes that he might have to temporarily take over Curtis's duties at Aurora. And the subtle shift in his posture during that scene, squaring his shoulders, adopting that classic Corinthos stoicism, made me smile. It's those small, specific acting choices that make me love the show so much. But the absolute crown jewel of Friday's episode, in my opinion, was the tension-filled gathering at the Quartermaine mansion with Portia Robinson, Tracy Quartermaine, and Brooke Lynn. When Portia walked into that room and looked at Tracy and Brooke Lynn, stating that there was something the Quartermaines could help her with, I was on the edge of my seat. I feel so incredibly invested in this specific scene because of the suffocating, unspoken secrets hanging in the air between these three women. I know a lot of people are saying this storyline regarding the car crash and the black BMW is dragging, but I actually think the slow burn is exactly what's needed because I feel like the psychological warfare is so much more delicious than a quick reveal. Portia is ostensibly there to ask for the Quartermaines' immense wealth and influence to secure a new, highly qualified surgeon for Derek now that Isaiah's hand is destroyed. But the way the scene was directed, with the camera lingering on Brooke Lynn's terrified face, was masterful. I think the writer's choice to have Portia stand tall and authoritative, while Brooke Lynn physically shrank back into the sofa, was brilliant because it made me feel the crushing weight of Brooke Lynn's guilt. The way I see it, Brooke Lynn is crumbling under the knowledge that her black BMW might have been the one that ran Curtis and Jordan off the road, and that Curtis wrongfully attacked Isaiah over it. I believe Brooke Lynn's conscience is screaming at her to confess, but then you look at Tracy Quartermaine, and you see absolute chilling perfection. Tracy, looking perfectly calm, sipping her tea, is completely unbothered, while her granddaughter is hyperventilating next to her. Is why I will forever defend Tracy as one of the greatest characters in daytime television history. I feel like this is the best they've written Tracy in years because it taps into her core identity as the ultimate Quartermaine protector. When I watched Tracy's serene expression on Friday, knowing full well that she had already secretly paid to have the guardrail paint and damage covered up on Brooke Lynn's car, I was cheering at my screen. I think Tracy is absolutely right to keep Brooke Lynn's mouth shut. And here's why her silent dominance in this scene backed up my take. Tracy knows that if Brooke Lynn confesses, the adoption of baby Phoebe will be destroyed forever. Tracy isn't covering up a crime out of malice. She's doing it out of a fierce, ruthless love for her family's future. In my opinion, the juxtaposition of Portia's desperate need to save Derek's life and Tracy's desperate need to save Brooke Lynn's family creates a beautiful, tragic symphony of maternal desperation. Every single character in this episode, from Willow trying to free Drew, to Curtis trying to protect his business, to Tracy covering up a felonies, doing the wrong thing for what they believe are the right reasons. I genuinely think we are in a golden era of storytelling on this show. The character motivations are so deeply rooted in their histories, the dialogue is sharp and purposeful, and the emotional payoff of these slow burn secrets is going to be astronomical. I cannot wait to see how Portia reacts if she ever pieces together the truth about that black BMW. And I am counting down the seconds until Monday's episode.